everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we have got the last cookbook collab for the year. If you're new here, I've hosted these throughout the year. I think we've only missed 1 month, but other than that, we have shared cookbook recipes all throughout the whole year. It's been super fun. I do plan on doing it next year, but I'm gonna have to wait a couple months into the new year just because with us moving and everything, I can't guarantee you know, where my cookbooks are and all that stuff. So I am gonna hold off for the first couple months of the new year, but I know a lot of y'all have commented saying, please do it next year. So I am going to, but just give me a couple months to get going and into the new house and all that. But for today's video, I'm going to be sharing 4 recipes total. I've got 2 cookbooks. The first cookbook is this Get Crocked Fast and Easy Slow Cooker Recipes. I'm going to be making some chicken noodle soup. We were going to do chicken tetrazzini, but Luke's a little under the weather, so I decided to do chicken noodle soup instead. So we did that one, and then we also did chicken parm sliders. These were really good. So we got those 2 recipes out of that cookbook. And then from this cookbook, Come Home to Supper, we are going to be making roasted sweet potato wedges and a good old-fashioned peanut butter pie. And y'all look at that. It is, it was so good. So we've got 4 delicious recipes to share with you guys today. Don't forget that this cookbook collab is an open collaboration. So I will have a playlist link down below for all the lovely ladies that are joining in on this month's collaboration. So make sure you check the playlist link when you're done with today's video to see everybody's cookbook recipes. I really hope you guys have been enjoying these throughout the year. And like I said, I plan on doing them next year. Just give me a couple months to get me settled and everything, and we will get back into it. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. We are going to start out with the chicken parm sliders. Y'all, these were so good. I'm so glad I tried this recipe. I'm using chicken thighs because that's what I had thought out at the time, but the recipe does call for chicken breasts, but I think you could use either, whatever you want. But you're going to add that chicken in, and then you will add in your seasonings and your marinara sauce, your cheese, and just let that cook on a low for about 4 hours, and then just shred it up. And y'all, I'm telling you, this was so good. It was really flavorful. Towards the end, whenever it looked like really saucy, and so I was kind of worried that it would just like fall off the slider buns, but once you shredded that chicken, it was perfect. It was so good. It's so flavorful. I didn't toast the buns. In the recipe, it does say that you can, like, you know, put them in a pan, put it on there, melt your cheese and toast it. But I just served it as is, and they were really delicious. So this recipe is perfect for an easy dinner night, or I feel like you could even take this for like a potluck or a holiday party, because you could just have the protein cooked and then just bring the cheese and the sliders and let everybody build their own. Next up, out of that same cookbook, I'm telling y'all, I love this cookbook. We are going to make some chicken noodle soup. This is another slow cooker recipe, as you can see, and y'all know how much I love slow cooker recipes. This was super easy, just to dump everything in. It calls for chicken breast, some chicken broth, it calls for some carrots, and then it does call for celery, which I didn't have any at the time, and I didn't worry about going and getting any. We aren't huge fans of celery, so I didn't worry about it. It calls for some onion, some garlic, dried thyme, salt and pepper to taste, and some egg noodles. So you just dump everything in. With the chicken broth, y'all know I always just do water and the chicken bouillon powder, so that's what I'm doing here. And my chicken is still frozen, and y'all, that's totally fine. You can do that because you're turning it on and you're going to be cooking it. It's not just going to be sitting there. So you can totally put frozen chicken in your crock pot, I promise. So you're just going to cook that on low for about 8 hours, and then once it's done, you'll just shred your chicken. And I ended up adding a can of carrots because we like a lot of carrots, and I didn't have enough like baby carrots. So once I added that can of carrots, it was perfect. Instead of cooking the noodles in the chicken noodle soup, I always cook them separate, and here's why. I feel like I can get a lot more leftovers out of it if I do it separate and just add the noodles into each individual bowl whenever I serve everybody, because I've noticed that if I cook the noodles in, the noodles are just going to continue to soak in that broth, and they're going to get really mushy and like fall apart. And then whenever you go to reheat it, it's always that way. And so I've always just cooked them separate, and we like them so much better. The noodles have a better texture, and you can just do like noodle to soup ratio. Next up, we're going to make some roasted sweet potato wedges. Y'all, I've been trying to make these for like 3 weeks now, and I finally got them done. So you just need some sweet potatoes. I ended up only using one because they were pretty big, and so by the time I cut it up, it was perfect just for, Luke and I, because Winston won't eat sweet potatoes. So I ended up just using one, but it's also going to call for brown sugar, salt, pepper, cinnamon, and some olive oil. Now, when I seen this recipe in this cookbook, I was like, I have to try this. For one, I love sweet potatoes, and this was just perfect. So you're going to mix together your dry rub separate, and then you're going to toss in about half of that onto your sweet potatoes that you coated in some olive oil. And then spray your pan. I'm going to cook mine in the air fryer because it needed to be cooked at 425, and I had my oven with what we served it with. I had my oven on 350, so I knew that wouldn't be good. So I cooked these in my air fryer, and y'all, they turned out perfect. It said to make sure that they're skinned side down, so that's what I was doing here. And then as you see, I still have some of that mixture in that bowl, and it says about halfway through, after you've flipped them a couple times, to coat them again, or put the rest of the cinnamon sugar on top of them when they just have a couple minutes left. And y'all, these were so good. Even Luke was like, yeah, I'm all about these. You're gonna have to make these again. These are amazing. I've made many sweet potatoes in my time, and y'all, I think this is my all-time favorite. New recipe, must try. Don't forget that I will have this cookbook linked down below so y'all can get this because it was bomb. I did preheat my air fryer for a little bit while I was prepping that, but you're going to cook this at 425 for about 30 minutes. And like I said, flip in a couple times, and then about halfway when it's done, you will add on the rest of that sugar mixture. And here they are when they're all done. I'm telling y'all, these were so good. My new favorite way to make sweet potatoes. We served it with some cracked chicken crescent bake, and I'll have that recipe in Sunday's What's for Dinner video. Last but definitely not least, we are making a old-fashioned peanut butter pie. Y'all, this was my first time making this, and I have to say, I have fell in love. It was so easy and delicious. Oh, it was so good. So first, you're just going to take and blind bake your pie shell just for a little bit. Get a little bit nice golden color on that. And then we're going to go ahead and make our custard. So it is just milk, sugar, vanilla, salt, cornstarch, and eggs. And you're just gonna cook that over the stove for a few minutes just until it gets nice and thick and becomes a nice thick custard. So one of the reasons why I wanted to try this recipe, because it just looked, the picture of it looked amazing on it, and I was really curious on how it was going to turn out, because there wasn't actually any peanut butter in the custard. The custard was just a plain vanilla custard. So the peanut butter portion comes in with the bottom and on the top. So you're going to take and mix together some confectioner sugar and some peanut butter, and you're just going to mix that together as you see there until it's nice and crummy. You're going to add half of that in the bottom of your blind baked pie crust, and then you're going to add on your homemade custard that you made, and then you're going to put on your meringue, and then you're going to top it with the other half of the peanut butter powdered sugar mixture. Like, when I was reading this recipe, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to try this. And y'all, I'm telling you, it was so good, so good. And it seems like it may take a lot of time, but if you follow the recipe, it really didn't. I had it done super quick, and it was really easy to put together. And then you're just going to pop that in the oven at 325 for 30 minutes. And y'all, I'm telling you, I can't rave over this enough. This was so good. And now that I'm watching this, I'm going to have to make another one. And that is it, y'all. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it gave you some dinner and dessert inspiration. We definitely have some new family favorites in today's video, some delicious recipes. Don't forget that today's video is an open collaboration hosted by myself. I will have the playlist linked down below so y'all can check out all the lovely ladies that joined in on December's cookbook collab. And until next year, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.